God, that is a huge snook. I think he's got it, I think he's got it, I think he's got it. Got him, got him. Oh, oh yeah. This is a nice one. Come on, get some ground on him. There we go, that's a nice trout right there. Holy cow, look at this thing. We're gonna measure him up. That trout tickle right there, man. That color. I just got slammed on that color today, guys. That doesn't say something. Oh, that's a tarpon. What's up, guys? Chris from One More Cast. So today I decided to come up to Harbor Heights to see if there's any tarpon. Normally around this time of year, there's a little bit of tarpon rolling around here. This place usually holds some pretty nice snook too, but usually the only time of year I come up this way is for tarpon. It's nowhere as busy as the pass and Oak Grand and stuff like that, so it's actually really calm out here. You don't have to deal with as much, you know, chop or waves, so it's a lot easier to get done in a kayak or a canoe or something like that. But sun's just now coming up. This is the perfect time to get out here for them. Get out here right before the sun comes up, and usually they'll roll till about 9, maybe 10 o'clock. So like I said, I haven't been out here yet this year. Usually this is about between June, July, August is when they start to get here and start rolling around up here. So hopefully they're rolling now. If not, if I don't see any tarpon, I'm gonna try to get into some snook. There's a lot of nice snook that hang out this way too, so I'm gonna go ahead, get out there, try to get into a nice tarpon this morning. I went and redid all my poles with straight 30. There's no 20. Normally I do 20, then 30 down here. I did straight 30 just because I'm targeting snook and tarpon. So I wanted to make sure I had straight. Oh look, something just blew up on that bait right there. Let's see if I can get him to hit this. Yeah, look, there's something blowing up on that bait over there. Might throw a jerk shad over that way. Oh, that was a big snook up in there. You guys hear him hit? I don't want this big old. So it's calm. So one thing I've learned is anytime it's calm, these bigger baits don't really work too well. But that's why I also got this jerk shad tied on. So I'm actually going to turn around real quick, get repositioned, and throw this jerk shad in there. I usually use the jerk shad. It's a lot more productive in calmer situations. Something hit it as soon as it hit the water almost. Okay, I got this smaller topwater tied on, but I'm convinced that those are jack now. Just the way that they're starting to pop off a little bit. This one does not as big as a pop, just a subtle walk across the surface. It's not nearly as. There it is. Yeah, I think it's a jack. I feel I'm shaking now. I think that's what they were. They were just jacky. Yeah, they're just jack. Get to the boat real quick. Get him off, but we're not trying to go for these guys. Yeah, we're not trying to go for these guys. goes. All right, yep, we're not trying to go for those guys. As much fun as they are sometimes, up this way, I mean, when you want to get those tarpon, if you want to get those tarpon, you gotta get them pretty early. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna waste time on these. Later on in the day, if they're still here, I'll come play around with them. But as far as for right now fishing, I need to get up to where these tarpon are gonna be. All right, so that was the coolest thing. I think it's another jack, but I was reeling this thing in pretty fast and he came up and just whacked it. I wish I would have got that on camera. I just got a bad wind knot in this one and I threw out there just to make sure it was good. I was reeling it in fast and alright, there he goes. Yeah, I threw up there real quick just to get it out there and just reeling it back in fast to make sure the wind knot was out and whacked it. I want to show you guys pretty much what I primarily throw for these guys up here. So it's a DOA Terrorize, and I don't really care when I buy the pack. I don't really look at the weight, I just look at the color. I like to throw either a root beer here or this white with a little green back. These are the two colors I throw here. I go light and dark. I mean, they like them both. I've caught fish on both of them. So, but what I do is I don't look at the weight on the pack because that doesn't really matter to me. I'm not really worried about the weight of the jig head because I don't use the jig head that comes in the pack. I actually will usually give that one to my kids. They'll use it, you know, throwing around. But for these tarpon, I replace it with one of those eyestrike jig heads. So this is a lot more durable hook. It doesn't bend out at all, and I've had those DOA hooks that come with these bend out on fish over and over again. Like when you're targeting bigger fish, they don't do that well. They bend out real quick. So I replace it and I use one of these. So you can't use the one that comes in because you have to rig these up before you tie on. So, and I'll show you guys how to pretty much how to do that. But yeah, this is primarily what I throw. This is a 1/4 ounce jig head. It's deep here. It's like 15-20 feet deep, so I use 1/4 ounce jig head. I've trolled these behind me and caught them. I've sight casted with them and caught them. So I mean, these work really good here. All right, so I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen any tarpon roll or anything. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and start trying to get some snook before it gets too late. All right, so I brought a new bait to try today. I've been really wanting to try these out for a while now, especially for bigger snook, tarpon, stuff like that. I'm sure it'll work on trout and redfish also, but it is a little bit bigger bait. But this hit right here, it's the Molotron LT. And so now this is a line through top hook swim bait. So the hook is on top, but it's a line through, and it's a 4.5 bait. It says moderate sink rate. I'm pretty sure it's a 3/4 ounce weight in there. So yeah, it's a 3/4 ounce casting weight, so a 1/4 ounce internal lead weight, and it's a 4.5 inch bait. So this is the Gold Rush one. This is one of the ones I picked up, but the one I have tied on right now, I'll show you guys real quick. So this is the one I've got tied on right now. That's what it looks like. This looks like a regular mullet, and what it is so there's a little tube in here that you feed the line through. And so in theory, what's supposed to happen is, because whenever you have such a big bait and you're throwing it, a lot of times a snook and tarpon will throw the bait when you're throwing the bigger baits. So what this one is essentially supposed to do is, when you set the hook, the bait actually slides up, the line goes through the bait, and the hook comes up like this. So now all that's left in the snook's mouth or the tarpon's mouth is the hook. So they say your landing ratio should be a lot better. And once you're done with it, there's literally just a little tube in there. This slides back into that tube, locks back into place. But that's what I'm gonna go ahead and throw this. It's got a really big wedge tail on it. Makes a lot of action. It's almost like the other Molotron but this one's already pre-rigged pretty much, so I'm excited to try this, see if I can't get something to hit it. Puts off a huge, I mean, that paddle puts off a lot of motion. It is a heavier bait, but that's why I've got it on this Fenwick HMG. It's rated up to, I want to say, yeah, so up to 1 ounce is what this rod's weighted for. So I'm excited to use this bait. It's definitely a big bait, and it should definitely draw out some bigger fish. Oh, that's a nice snook. There we go. It's on that mullet. This is on the mulletron right there. Get me out of those bushes. It's not a bad one. There we go. There we go. Look at that. First fish on this mulletron right here. Look at this thing right here. Came up and hammered it. Just came out. Alright, let's go ahead and measure him. See where he's sitting at. So it's 23 and a half. Yeah, 23 and a half inches. There we go. So our backup plan was to catch some snook. There you go. There she goes. Or there he goes. Alright guys, so this bait did exactly what it was supposed to do. I'm gonna check the fray. Yeah, it didn't fray it up at all. But yeah, it slid right up the line like it was supposed to. And slides right back into place. Good to go for the next one. And the best thing about this thing is it's that Z-Man Elastec, so even if it didn't slide up, this stuff's not going to get destroyed. So this is my first time using this bait right here, and I mean, it's like my third cast with it. And I started reeling it, and I seen him. I watched him come up behind it and hit it. That was awesome. So one thing I definitely want to let you guys know, just to be careful of, especially right here, because you're part of the river once you come up this way. There's a lot of gators that hang out this way. So if you do happen to have to go up on the bank anywhere in this area, make sure you check it first. Because I don't know how many times I've been fishing a bank and a gator, and I've landed it on the bank and then a gator's come running out at my bait. So especially being in a kayak, if you end up drifting up into some sawgrass right there, or drifting up against the bank, just make sure you have your paddle ready to push off, because there's been a bunch of times where I've seen gators just right here on the bank and you can't even see them most of the time. But alright, so one of my favorite baits to throw in calm conditions is a jerk shad. I mean, I honestly think this is a very underrated bait. I talked to a few people, and I also know some people that don't throw this at all, and it's a great bait. I mean, I've caught a lot of really big fish on this bait, and honestly I picked it up because back when I did a lot of bass fishing and I started out bass fishing, we threw a Zoom fluke. I mean, that's what we threw all the time for bass. I mean, that was a great bait to throw for bass, is a Zoom fluke. Me and my brothers, we started using it saltwater fishing, and snook love it, redfish love it. Alright, so that Right Stuff one, the one I had tied on here was the Right Stuff. It's actually the exact one I used whenever I went out with Eloy down in Matt Lachey. So That one got a little messed up, and I left it out in my truck, and I shouldn't have. And the only thing bad about Z-Mans, if you leave them out in the heat, they will mess up. They'll get deformed. So that one wasn't swimming right, really. So I wanted to switch it off anyway. So there's 2 colors I like to throw up here. Actually 3 colors. So Slam Shady works really good. Slam Shady color works great in all sorts of waters. But there's 2 other ones that I do like to throw up here. The Right Stuff one, it might do good up here. I haven't tried it up here yet, but this Green Lantern color works great up here. And then also you got Redfish Toad. It's got a little bit of watermelon seed in it. So I pulled both of these out. I'm gonna see which one does the best. I'm gonna start out with the Green Lantern. This one's never failed me. This one's always worked really good in darker water. But yeah, it's got like a green and purple flake in it, and it's got that dark green back. So anything with any kind of like green or watermelon seed or gold flake, or you know, any kind of green flake, purple flake, all those colors work really good in darker water, especially this river water. So like whenever I fished freshwater, watermelon seed with red flake was one of the best colors you could throw. But I'm gonna see a little bit of movement right here, and like I said, you pull off in these little dips on the side and you'll find a lot of snook in these. So actually there's something right there. So if you look at another way you can find out is you'll see all this sawgrass along the side. Well, back up in those mangroves, I don't know if you see it, but you can see them bumping. They're bumping and moving like that. They keep bumping. So I look for a lot of that whenever I'm fishing the river and stuff too, because what that is there's no current, there's no wind. The only way that's bumping is if fish is bumping it. So a lot of times fish will be sitting back in there and they'll bump that little bit of sawgrass in there and make it move. So I'll watch for that too. If I see like a piece of sawgrass just bumping and it's getting hit hard, there's probably a fish sitting next to it. So I'll usually throw in that. And like I was telling you guys earlier, so that right there, if you look, you see all the grass is laid down flat like that and pushed down up that way. And right here, it's all laid down flat right there. That's from gators. That's from them getting up off the bank and walking up in there, or laying up on the bank. That's exactly what all that's from. So the only downside to that Molotron that I found is it is a very heavy bait. So when you throw it, it makes a really loud splash. And when you're in areas like this where it's super calm, it's hard to make a giant splash and not scare something. So I'm gonna work this area right here, this little bank, try to get something off here. I'm gonna use a jerk shad up in here. Like I said, this is one of my favorite baits to throw for snook, for redfish, trout. I mean, calm conditions, very shallow water conditions, very like shallow or against the mangroves, very calm conditions. I'll throw it on a weighted hook. Because the Z-Man is very buoyant, I usually throw it on at least a 16th ounce weight. I don't ever run it completely weightless because it doesn't want to swim right. So an ideal weight that I like to throw on it is a 1/8 ounce weight. 1/8 ounce works very good. Oh, there it goes. There we go. And one thing I do like about the jerk shad is it does the same thing the Molotron does. It does it naturally though. It slides up that hook. Oh, come on. Should have had my anchor ready. Yeah, it's in his gill plate. It's not even a big snook. There we go. Yeah, he's wrapped all up in my line. That's why I was pulling so much drag. Not so much pressure against me. All right, there we go. Yeah, he's wrapped all up. Come on, let's get some line out. There. All right. Look, it came, he actually threw the hook and it wrapped around and then hooked around his fin. I mean, the hook went in his mouth. He was hooked at one point, but when he threw the hook, it went out the back of his mouth, out the top of his mouth. See, I don't know if you guys can see that right there, but see, so he was hooked and he threw it. It just came out the backside, and he rehooked himself. That's what made it so hard to get him in, because I had to crank down quite a bit just to get him to get in. So that's a little guy. He came right off those mangroves and hit this thing. So go ahead and let him go. Make sure I'm not frayed all the way up here, because that thing was all the way out. But yeah, so one thing I love about the jerk shad, and this happens usually 8 out of 10 times you hook set something, it slides up your line. It's always done that. I don't know if it's made to do that, but usually 8 out of 10 times this happens, where he'll slide all the way up. So just push this back through. But yeah, this jerk shad is one of my favorite summertime lures. My favorite for summertime lures, because you got those really high tides. When we have those really high tides, you can you can get it way up in those mangroves, way deep in those mangroves. I'll make a couple more casts in here real quick. And it's weedless, so if you do hit it in a tree, it just pops right out. Oh, oh, you guys see that? Oh, come on, pop out of there. Come on, pop out, pop out. There it goes. Oh, something swirled on it. Something's right there on it. There it is. Little guy. Little guy. Like I said, every time this thing slides up, man. This thing slides up every time almost. This is a little guy. There you go, little tiny baby snook. But yeah, slides right up the line. Let me throw her on this back side. See if anything's back over here. There we go. Got another one. Told you guys, this jerk shad, it works great. This is one of my favorite things to throw summertime. Love throwing it on the river. Oh, this guy's not too bad either. All right. Another beautiful snook right there. So I've caught in, just in this first little bit, caught in 4 snook. Had a couple blow up on them just in this area. I haven't even got to the creek yet. But I'm about to get out of here, because now these horse flies are coming. All right, so I gotta put a new jerk shad. So this guy keeps arching up like this. So what that means is somewhere in here he's messed up pretty bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on a different one. Now I just noticed also I must have hit a mangrove or something. I'm gonna retie this also, because this is pretty frayed. So I'm just gonna go ahead and retie this while I'm at it, and I'm gonna put on that redfish toad color on. All right, hooked into one, pretty nice one. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah. This one's not too bad either. Oh yeah, there we go. This one's probably bigger than the first one. It's probably bigger than the first one. Oh yeah, it's definitely a better one. That redfish toad worked out pretty good, huh? Oh yeah, that's a nice one, guys. That's a nice one right there. Okay, got that jerk shad out. I'm gonna let them relive a little bit. I'll measure them up. I'm guessing about 25, maybe 24. Not too much bigger than the other one. Okay, right there. 25 and a half. It's that beautiful fish right there, guys. Okay, he's ready to go. Let go. All right, ow, let go. There he goes. It's biting down real hard. There it goes. All right, guys, got him literally right out of that mangrove right there. Pitched it way up in there. I just hit the record button and he whacked it. So, yeah, another nice snook. Like I said, tarpon didn't work out. I knew Snook would do. Pretty good. It's a really good spot for snook. I should honestly fish this area a lot more, but I don't. I just love being on the flats so much, and it's hard with a paddle kayak to kind of come back in here and control yourself. A pedal drive, I mean, if you have a pedal drive kayak and you can get in here, I mean, it's snook heaven up in here. It's probably gonna be the name of it. So anytime I'm getting one of these entrances right here off of this creek, I'm fishing these smaller creek mouths, I always fish the entrances first before I hit it up in there, just because a lot of times they'll see, a lot of times they'll be sitting right here on the entrance. Oh my gosh, that was a big fish. Oh, come on. Oh, go on. Oh man, he hit it as soon as it hit the water. Wasn't a big one. As soon as it hit the water, he came up and hit it. It's this mullet right here. It's not a big guy, but he hit it as soon as it hit the water. And I really like this hook because it keeps the bait. It keeps it in the corner of the mouth every time almost. So this hook is actually really good. It doesn't fray up at all. Little guy. That's on this mullet right here. Okay, so normally what I'll do is I'll work the back side of that island right here on my way back, but I'm ready to go in. It's getting hot, so I'm not even gonna go over there right now. So I'm just gonna work the same side that I came up on my way down. And I hit it because there's like, oh, a little mullet. There's like 2 or 3 cuts over on that side that are pretty good, but I'm ready just to get out of here. Super hot out here. And these two little storm systems right there are supposed to be blowing across. So far they're doing what the radar showed. So the radar showed it going across. So far that's what's happening. They haven't made any last minute shifts. I've checked the radar a couple times so far, and so far it looks like that's what they're doing. So I should be okay to stay out of that, because that's gonna cross almost halfway between 75 and the boat launch, so shouldn't be anywhere near me. So I just came out and I was coming down the main river. I just said it's supposed to be an east wind, and at the time 10 minutes ago it was an east wind, and it just shifted to the south so fast. Like, it was coming across this way, I was paddling fine, no issues, and then a huge gust of wind came from the south, and it's been blowing from the south ever since. So it wasn't supposed to shift at all when I checked it. It was supposed to be an east to southeast wind the whole time, so it was supposed to come from that general area over in that there, and that's what it was doing all morning. Well, now it's coming right from here. So once again, the weatherman lied. Usually about 90% wrong. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back to the kayak launch. About to put my phone up just in case this rain comes and hits me now. I swear Florida's the most bipolar state. It's sunny as can be. It's raining hard as hell. We got white caps in this damn river now. The wind just shifted complete last minute. See now there's no wind, zero wind right now. All the wind stopped. There's zero wind. Zero wind right now. Florida is the most bipolar state you will ever live in. Alright guys, that's the end of the trip. So it's a real quick trip today, you know. I only stayed out till about 10 o'clock. So it was a real quick trip. Didn't plan on staying out there for a really long time just because of the heat, and it's only so far I like to go on the river in my kayak anyways, so you know, I always try to make it a quick trip whenever I come to fish the river. But it was a really good day. Caught a lot of snook, man. Caught a lot of snook, and missed some snook too, so it was a really good day out there. Got 2 nice snook, and that, I mean, that mullet, that Moltron LT, I have to say I really like it. I'm really liking that bait, guys. It's my first time using it today. Caught 2 snook on it. Missed a couple snook on it also. Some of them I didn't get on camera, but like I said, that jerk shad's a really good summertime bait. If you're fishing the river, if you're fishing freshwater, I mean, mangroves, shallow flats, I mean, calm, slick conditions, it's the best time to throw that jerk shad. Now if it's real super choppy, I won't throw it. I'll throw one on a jig head, but I won't throw a weedless rigged one, because it won't really perform in choppy weather. But if it's calm, you know, slick surface, a little bit of ripple at most, I mean, that bait, redfish, snook, I mean, my last video that I just went to Matt Lachey over there with Eloy, I mean, I caught that red on a jerk shad. Missed a couple snook on that jerk shad. I mean, that jerk shad, like, right now is the time of year to throw it. And like I said, those Z-Man ones, I rig on an 1/8 ounce weight, weighted hook. I use the Z-Man chin locks hooks. I really like them. They don't rust that fast at all. I mean, they last a while. They stay sharp. They're really strong, durable hooks. But I use the 1/8 ounce when I'm using Z-Mans. If you're using something other than Z-Man, you can get away with rigging it weightless or 16th ounce. You don't need an 1/8 ounce at all, because it's that Z-Man material, that elastic material is very buoyant, so you kind of need to put a little bit of weight on it to keep it down from popping up. But yeah, I mean, you guys should go try it out. Like I said, the 5-inch ones I try to put on a 4/0 hook. If it's a 4-inch one, I'll try to put it on a 3/0 hook. And then I'll run, if I'm putting on a jig head, I'll run it on a trout eye jig head. Both sizes I'll run on a trout eye jig head. I usually run it on 3/16 to a 1/4 ounce. But yeah, like I said, try that out. It was a good day out here. I was only out here for, you know, I think I got on the water right at like 6:30, so I was only out here for about 3.5 hours or so, and it was a really good day out there. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, guys. Whenever I hit 500, I thought it was gonna take a while to get 600. I'm already at 573, I think, right now. So I've moved up 73 subscribers in the past, I mean, just month or two. I've gone up 73 subscribers versus 500 over a 1.5 years. So, I mean, it shows that you guys are really watching my stuff. My stuff's getting out there, starting to get noticed. And like I said, guys, I really love doing this. I mean, I don't do the YouTube for me, really. I mean, I do it mainly to teach other people what I love to do. I'm not trying to make money off YouTube. I'm not trying to get like that, but you know, I really do love just showing you guys the way I fish, using artificial, using a lot of lures and stuff, and because bait's fun. Bait catches fish, you know. I'm definitely starting to use more bait this year. I've told you guys that, but sometimes you don't want to deal with the bait. You don't want to have to try to keep it alive, especially in a kayak. I mean, keeping greenbacks alive or keeping bait alive in a kayak gets rough, because if they get too hot, they start to die, they won't act right. I mean, it's just real tough in a kayak. There's no circulation of water in a kayak. So when you're in a kayak, the best thing to use is artificial lures. So hope you guys like my stuff. Like I said, there's always time for one more cast. I'll see you later.